Good afternoon, all. I, CA Bhavi Thakkar, on behalf of Professional Excellence Enrichment Committee, ICAI, welcome you all the participants in this today's webcast on From Stress to Strength, Skillful Strategies to Overcome Burnout. This is very important topic in today's live atmosphere where all the chartered accountants are fully engaged every day with lots of new opportunities, with lots of new challenges. And this topic today brings you up the highlight on so many important things that we miss in our lives. So I welcome today's resource person, CA Sandeep Gupta ji, sir, and others present over here to please enhance yourself with this webcast. And as it is rightly said, that management of stress is very important because the skillful strategies will help you out to burn out these things. And today, on this day, I welcome you all again. Sir, welcome you for today's webcast. Sandeep Gupta ji is a very learned person, and basically he is a human potential and leadership present strategist who is a global speaker and creator of SHE framework. With over 40 years of experience guiding leaders, professionals, and organizations, Sandeep sir brings a rare blend of wisdom, strategy, and presence. He is best known for his groundbreaking works in human excellence, leadership presence, and sustainable success, work that connects the inner world purpose with the outer world of strategy. Today, we have with us, with his whole heart work, lies the SHE framework, the transformative system that integrates spiritual dynamics, human potential, and economic strategies to help leaders and businesses build futures where spirituality and profitability flourish together. He has spoken on prestigious global platforms, including Oxford University, the Science of Consciousness Conference, and ISUD, and has partnered with corporates, leadership forums, and associations across the world to help them to break through global barriers and thrive holistically. Sandeep sir is known for making the complex simple and for inspiring action that is not just smart, but also deeply human. His thought leadership has earned him multiple recognitions, including the Indian Achievers Award 2023 and the President's Award 2024 by Professional Speakers Association of India. A chartered accountant with a postgraduate degree in theology and certified in the interpersonal neurobiology, design thinking, appreciative inquiry, and more. Sandeep sir's work is a confluence of head, heart, and higher purpose. He has taught strategic management at BITS Pilani, theology at DEI, and authored a neuro leadership course for Ubik Business School, USA. Currently, the board of PSAI and the member of the International Advisory Committee Connect Dubai, Sandeep sir lives in New Delhi and his wife continuing his mission to help individuals and organizations glow with clarity, consciousness, and purpose. Today, we have such a huge speaker with us who has been a global figure, and we have an opportunity to utilize this whole time so that we can earn more out of his knowledge and his resource. Welcome, sir. And now over to you. I hand over this platform to you, Mo.
Well, well, good morning, everyone, and a namaste and bhave. Bhave, I think I should reduce my introduction, chop off 50% of it. Well, guys, this is my probably the 6th or the 7th time I am on this platform. And every time I come, I'm very excited. Do you know the reason? The reason is when I did my CA way back in 79, we did not have this kind of a support from the institute. And we just had the exams, the articleship, the exams, and probably, some centers had a 1-month refresher course before the exams. Over the years, in the last 45 years, I've seen the institute maturing, institute taking care of its members, helping them to establish and practice, helping them to get jobs. I think the institute has grown, and yes, it makes me full of pride to be a chartered accountant. And I'll say that all of you chartered accountants have become a chartered accountant and are working in very exciting times because our profession has gone beyond the traditional audit, the traditional taxation. New avenues are opening up, and new partnerships are coming in. And well, sky is the limit if you really apply yourself. But what comes between the sky and the you? It is stress. And when stress is not handled, it becomes distress. And when distress is not handled, it becomes anxiety. And when anxiety is not handled or taken care of, it becomes depression. And when depression is also not taken care of, then it becomes suicidal. Now, you might say that, look, I am not stressed. Because stress doesn't bother me. The truth is, stress is always there with us. Let's take the case of the girls yesterday who won the World Cup for India. Do you think they were stressed before the match? Yes, they were stressed. And had they not been stressed, they would not have achieved what they achieved yesterday. Stress is one thing which awakens you, which alerts you. But at the same time, if you refuse to awake, if you refuse to get up and take action, then the consequences could be very disastrous. So now let's take forward this topic. And now, before I proceed further, Bhave said, I'm known for simplifying things. Yes, I love to simplify things. I love to talk in common language. I do not like using jargons. The idea is that what I communicate, you get, you receive, you comprehend easily. You don't have to go to the internet and find out what word did Sandeep use, or you don't have to get onto the AI, what did he say? So it'll be very simple. Unfortunately, you give me a moment, please. Unfortunately, we cannot interact on this platform, though I would have loved that we could interact. But nevertheless, just imagine I'm very much there with you. I'll be asking you questions. You can note the answers on a piece of paper, and then we can keep going forward. So with this, I welcome all of you once again. We are a community of chartered accountants, CFOs, professionals, and business leaders. We are the people, who hold and are the backbone of the economic development of India. We have moved much further than the traditional taxation and audit. Today, we are the harbingers of financial governance. And when it comes to financial governance, if anyone says that, look, there is no stress in it, I would just smile. The reason being, when it comes to the world of finance, there are so many uncertainties, and the human nature vitiates it further. Like, for example, you go for an audit. Though the company or the person or the individual might claim that they believe by values, they go by values, they believe in integrity, and they're the most honorable person. Can you take them on their face value? As auditors, you don't. And a number of times you find that they had manipulated the books of accounts, they had manipulated the process, they had manipulated the systems for what? For the vested interests. The stock exchange gets manipulated by vested interests. The bank loans get manipulated, and had these manipulations not been there, we would not have a Neeraj Modi running around the world. We would not have Choksi fighting not to come back to India, and we would not have Malia resisting coming back to India and the Indian government after him. So yes, we are, as a community, we are subjected to stress day in, day out, provided we want to serve the community. So what we are going to talk about is how to manage the stress, how to convert the stress into a challenge. Now, all these things, which are required to manage stress and lead an honorable life, a happy life, and a successful life, like energy, clarity, mental bandwidth, they don't figure on the balance sheets. They figure on the invisible balance sheet of life. Now, how many of you, after a day's work, when you reach home, go back to your room, are with the family or friends, and you say, hey man, I am tired. When despite being successful, you say, maza nahi aaya. I didn't really enjoy, I was expecting something else. Just think. If this is happening, then stress is playing on you. So now let me ask you 5 questions. These are self-assessment questions. And you got to mark yourself on 1 to 5. 1 means they do not apply to you. 5 means they apply to you. I repeat, 1 would mean not at all true, and 5 would mean very true. I'll read them slowly. I feel emotionally exhausted at the end of most work days. I repeat, I feel emotionally exhausted at the end of most of the work days. Give yourself a number, 1 to 5. The next question. I feel detached or indifferent towards my clients or colleagues. You have lost interest in them. You're feeling detached. You're not concerned about your clients or colleagues. If this is happening to you, and be honest, you see, because unless you're honest, these questions or I just cannot help you. And secondly, you're not sharing the answers with anyone. The answers are only with you. So just be honest and truthful. The third question is, I find it hard to make decisions and focus. Should I not? While you're focusing on something, you get distracted. You start thinking of something else. So the third question is, I find it hard to focus or make decisions. Again, mark yourself from 1 to 5. Question number 4. My enthusiasm for work has dropped significantly. You don't feel like working. And it happens with everyone, believe me. It's not this, it's only happening with you. There are times when Your enthusiasm to work, to go out, to achieve just drops. And the fifth question is, I feel I am chasing deadlines, not dreams. A situation where you feel that you are firefighting every day. You are not moving ahead. Again, mark yourself from 1 to 5. Now, these questions might seem very, very simple. But if you really think they're very deep and they're capable of throwing up what you have been ignoring. Now, all you got to do is just total up the numbers you have given yourself to these questions. If the sum total is less than 10, then you're fine, you're great. If it is 10 to 15, you got to wake up and you got to start to think to take action. And if the answer is more than 15, the sum total is more than 15, then you better take action because you have been hit by stress. Now, what will happen if you don't take action? If you do not take action, you are not careful. Tiredness, motivation, numbness, hopefulness, all these things will start reducing. And you will start moving towards burnout. I'm sure you must be hearing this word very often in literature, on the internet, burnout, 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 burnout. Every second person is saying burnout. And the fact is, I think it was the Pew Research or some other research which said 70% of the global leaders have gone through burnout. And when you expand the results from the corporate world to people in general, you will find that 90% students and youngsters have faced burnout or are facing burnout on and off. Now, burnout is not something which is external. Burnout is not something which happens all of a sudden. It starts, it's a consequence. It is a resultant of what? Of your journey to meet your goals, to achieve what you want to achieve. It's constantly there. The day you decided that you want to become a chartered accountant, you had sown the seeds of burnout. Because I'm sure in your journey, will I be in a position to complete my articles? Yes or no? A question of burnout, stress. Will I clear my exams? First attempt, second attempt? Again, a question. I am not enjoying work. Third thing, have I made a wrong choice? Should I have taken something else? All these questions create stress. But since you took them in your stride, you managed stress, you could move forward, you took decisions, you took the exam, you passed, and today you are talking to me. So, burnout is not an event, it is erosion. Burnout is like that white ant, Dimak, which gets stuck to the roots of the tree, which starts eating the roots of the tree, and you don't realize till the time the tree falls. Burnout is invisible. Only the consequence of burnout, which is mental fog, which is absolute tiredness, which is moving away from reality, rejecting everything, those are visible. So obviously, if you want to eliminate burnout from your life, you got to go to the root cause, and the root cause is not visible. So what is visible? Now, before I move further, WHO has, restricted burnout only to workplace. I don't agree with this thing. Burnout is not workplace dependent. Burnout is a human issue, not a workplace issue. And if you see the 12 factors, which one of the social scientists has put together, those factors are a combination of workplace issues and non-workplace issues, because stress is also there while you're walking on the road. When someone falls sick in the family, stress is also there. So now, let me come back. Let me come back to the 12 factors which the world believes are the causes of burnout. And I'm sure if you analyze them, you will understand these 12 are only indicative, not inclusive. Number one, compulsion to prove oneself. Now, a lot of people, they want to prove themselves. They want to show the other person down. Now, this is an ego-driven thing. And over here, these people begin with a lot of promise, a lot of enthusiasm, and since their goal is ego-driven, they lose steam very fast. Number two, working harder. Now, how do they lose? Now, these people, they work hard, they put in everything in their work. But the truth is, career and work is only one aspect of life. There are 12 aspects of life, and you need to create a balance. Let me ask you, can you survive only on the basis of work? No. You need relationships. You need health. You need money. You need values. You need character. You need spirituality. There's so many other factors. You need a career. So therefore, if now these people, who are out to prove themselves, or otherwise also, people who are trying to escape something, push themselves into work to such an extent that their life graph gets skewed. And when the life graph gets skewed, an imbalance comes in life. They start missing relationships, they start missing other things, which translates into stress, into anxiety, etc., etc. The next is neglecting needs. When they're so absorbed, they're so obsessed, they don't eat food, they don't exercise, they ignore the family. Again, all these things lead to an imbalance. And when the imbalance comes in, what happens? Conflicts. Conflicts arise because irritation shows up. You get irritated. And what do you do? Rather than looking inside, you land up, focusing your finger outside. I had a client. He came to me and said, "Sir, I want your help as a coach to help me to get out of mental fog." Now, he was blaming everything, right from his father to mother, to his college, to school, to incidents, etc., etc. But he was not prepared to accept that he is lazy. He is not taking action. And since he is not taking action, he is not improving. revision of values. When your values change for any reason, your friends start looking at you differently, and that causes burnout. Denial of emerging problems. You see, you're seeing the problem over there, but you're denying it. No, it can happen to my neighbor, it cannot happen to me. It can happen to my neighbor, it cannot happen to me. You heard the story of the ostrich? What does the ostrich do? The ostrich shoves its head, eyes inside sand. And a better story would be of the pigeon and the cat. The pigeon is sitting on the tree. You know, cats can climb trees. The pigeon sees the cat climbing the tree, coming towards him. The pigeon is too lazy to fly. So what does the pigeon do? The pigeon closes his eyes and says, well, I cannot see the cat, so I'm sure the cat will not be in a position to see me. And the next moment, you can imagine what happened. The cat pounced on the pigeon, killed the pigeon. Then obvious behavior changes. If you find that all of a sudden you have become very short-tempered, sarcastic, there's emotional fatigue, again, that signal that burnout is setting in. Depersonalization, which means you, while taking any action, talking, you are not there. You are doing it mechanically. Inner emptiness. You feel a vacuum inside you. Depression. You start questioning your worth. And burnout, your body, mind, and spirit, they crash. They just crash. Now, though it's very difficult to get an answer from you, probably you can try putting it in the chat. If any of these symptoms, you find in yourself. Again, there's no judgment. There's no assessment. If you want, you can put it in the chat. Otherwise, assess for yourself. I remember a friend of mine, who always aspired to be a CEO. He became a CEO. And when I met him, I said, look, you're a CEO now. Your dream has come true. Right from school days, you wanted to be a CEO of a big international company. He says, look, Sandeep, initially I used to love my work. And now I just feel that I'm dragging on. It's very mechanical. And you know what I told him? I said, look, take care of yourself, because this is the onset of burnout. And burnout stands between, or say burnout is a continuous process. Like I said, it's the onset of burnout. And if you do not handle it, you will find a total deterioration in your mental health. And how does the mental health deteriorate? We'll come to it shortly. Now, let me give you some science behind it. Burnout usually starts raising its head when the stress is chronic. Okay. And chronic stress, what does it do to your body? Your body starts releasing cortisols in excess than what is required. And this cortisol, if it is not taken care of, in our brain, there are two centers. One is the emotional brain, the fear-centered brain. called the amygdala, and the other is the prefrontal cortex, which we use to take decisions. This cortisol starts expanding and making your amygdala more powerful and reducing the power of the prefrontal cortex. So, as a result, habitually you become a worrying person, incapable of taking decisions and moving ahead. And over a period of time, you start feeling anxious, and there's no reason to be anxious. I'm sure if you look back, women who are mothers, have this very strong sense of anxiety, especially for their children. And if you look back, probably your mothers also, would be thinking, this thing has happened over there. I hope it doesn't happen to my child. I hope my child is safe. Though the child might be a good 40 kilometers away from where the bomb blast took. Or the mothers might be saying, oh, you come back home, come back home. What if something happens over there? So this is a typical case of anxiety. What if, which I'll be talking about going forward. So now, again, I'm giving you 4 factors. Just mark for yourself, does any of the factors represent you or is present in you? Headaches. For no rhyme or reason. You just develop a headache. Irritation. You get irritated for no reason. And later on, you laugh at yourself. Why the hell did I get irritated or angry? Fatigue. You have slept well, you have eaten well, you have not worked, still you are fatigued, you are tired. And sleeplessness. For hours, you are just tossing in your bed. You cannot sleep. So just mark it. And now let's move forward. You see, I've been using one word, stress and anxiety. And both of them are related. And to a certain extent, they also overlap. So what is stress? And what is anxiety? Fine, fair enough. Anxiety is the higher level of stress, but there is a distinct difference between the two. There is a characteristic difference between the two. Stress. Stress is usually because of external factors. Stress is physical. You are getting into a meeting, a very important meeting. You might feel some amount of stress. Or someone in your family very dear to you is not keeping well. You're stressed. Or like the girls yesterday, when they were walking into the field to play South Africa, I'm sure they must have been stressed. Like Sachin Tendulkar says, before every match, I used to be stressed. So stress is something to which your body, mind, and brain is reacting, and that thing is external to you. Anxiety. Anxiety is internal. It's psychological. It is fear-driven. Anxiety is fear-driven. Again, I would request you to identify your biggest imagined worry, internal. Is it your reputation? Is it about your being accepted? Is it about failing? Is it about what would others say? Is it about tomorrow you don't have money, then what will you do? Is it about any other factor, right? Remember, stress is like your car engine. It helps you to move. That is the starting point. But after your journey, if you do not switch off the engine, what will happen? It burns out. So anxiety is when you keep the engine running all night and it burns you out. Now, you might say that, look, on one hand, I'm saying stress leads to so much negativity. On the other hand, I'm saying it's very essential. How is this possible? How can the negative and the positive both be together? To simplify the entire thing, let's put it this way. The positive is on the left of you. The negative is on the right of you. It's a spectrum. The positive, which awakens you. Oh, sorry, did I say the positive is on the right, negative on the left? Yes. So the positive is on your right. What does it do? It alerts you. It awakens you. It says, hey, exams are coming. Better study. It says, hey, you have an appointment at 6 o'clock. It takes 1 hour to travel. Better get ready and leave at 5. Or it says, your spouse is angry. Your girlfriend, boyfriend are angry. You should take care of your behavior, the what you say, what you don't say, so that the matter does not escalate. So it's basically awakening you up, alerting you. It starts traveling from your right and it comes to you. You're in the center. It depends on your capabilities. How do you manage that alertness or being awake? Now, to be successful in life, you need to have the right intentions, right purpose, right mindset, and right actions. Now, again, this is inside you. And if you don't have the right intentions, you do not have the right mindset, and you do not have to take the right actions, it starts moving towards the left of you. Stress, it moves beyond you because you have failed to take action. And then what if comes into play? What if this happens? What if this? What if this? It gets converted into anxiety. Anxiety gets converted into depression. Depression gets, or say, anxiety gets converted into distress, distress into depression, depression into burnout, and burnout into suicidal thoughts. So far, what we have been doing, I've been giving you knowledge, right? And you'll agree with me, knowledge without action is meaningless. And action without knowledge is directionless. I repeat, knowledge without action is meaningless. And action without knowledge is directionless. So let's come to the action mode now. Again, I would wish that you participate and just follow what I'm saying. Okay. Again, there'll be certain questions, there'll be certain introspections, and in the end, there'll be a small meditation also. Okay. So now, on the right was the positive, which is called Eurostress, eustress. And on the left was the negative, which is called distress. And to ensure that eustress does not get converted into distress, you are in the middle. The responsibility lies on you. It does not lie on anyone else. It is as simple as that. And why do I say so? Let me share my own story with you. I did my CA way back in 1979. And the initial years till 1984 were brilliant. My practice was doing good. I had developed an office of 20 plus peoples, plus a number of articles. And I was earning big amount of money. And I thought that, yes, I have reached, achieved what I wanted. But then came the 90s. The big five came into India. The practice dynamics changed dramatically. Everything became liberal. That was the first liberalization policy which came in 1991. And then for the next 6, 7, 8 years, I was an utter failure. So you can say right from the top of a hill, I was thrown to the bottom of an ocean, and that phase continued for a good 10, 12 years. And during this phase, what did I do? I kept blaming everything outside. I kept blaming everything outside. And during this period, I became a financial broke. I became an emotional broke. I became a physical broke. I became a spiritual broke. I became broke personified. And again, it's because of this, it's because of that, it's because of these circumstances. Had that person did this thing would have happened. And do you know what I realized at the end? The 4 principles of growth, which I'm sharing with you. Number 1, life is not linear. It is a maze of interconnected events. And each event creates a ripple of reactions in different directions. So if you do not take action, appropriate action, correct action, it's going to create ripples in different directions. Number 2, align your purpose, thoughts, and actions. My purpose, my thoughts and actions were not aligned. I was thinking about the East, wanted to go West, and taking action for the South. Obviously, stress had to come in, failure had to come in. Next, larger picture and join the dots. See the larger picture, join the dots. I was not doing this. As a result, I never had a plan B and I was never prepared of what might happen. And since I was not prepared what might happen, I was only blaming. And lastly, which I call the mother of all, I was not behaving out of compassion and humility. The initial success had gone to my mind to such an extent that I was not behaving out of humility and compassion. As a result, my relationships were going away. And since my relationships were going away, obviously my practice was impacted. And it's only when I realized this thing and I took action, everything started changing. And there's been no looking back since then. Now, what does the science say about not taking action? What does the science say about not taking action? It says prolonged cortisol impacts serotonin. Prolonged cortisol impacts serotonin, dopamine, and sleep. Now, sleep is very, very essential because sleep is the only time when your body recovers, your brain recovers, your mind is at rest, it is fresh. And when cortisol keeps everything very active, to feel burnt out, mental fog, tired, not able to take decisions, not interested in anything, or pushing yourself very hard, damaging your physical health, is the natural consequence. Is the natural consequence. One of my friends, in practice, though I gave up practice quite a few years back, I'm not practicing actively now, though people do come to me for consultation. But I am more into speaking, coaching, mentoring, the human potential aspect, the human dimension aspect of business. So a friend of mine, I met him a couple of months back. He said, I said, how are things? He says, my day starts with caffeine and ends with codeine. Now, codeine is a sleeping pill. Starts with a stimulant, and then he needs another stimulant to put him to sleep. Now, and you know what happened? In 2 weeks' time, he was in the hospital. Hospital for what? Exhaustion. Because he was not paying attention to his mind and body. So again, I'll request you, I urge you, and I invite you to identify what's happening with you. Are you feeling fatigued? Are you feeling loneliness, loss of meaning, or mechanical, or are you feeling apathy? Just note, assess for yourself. And the science. Now, I'm talking of the science so much for the simple reason because without science, it becomes as if I'm giving an opinion. With science, just before the actions, I am creating the foundation for you to understand that how important it is to take action, which I'll be sharing just now. But I'm giving you the scientific facts. Now, what happens inside your body when stress hits you? Let's take again the World Cup because that's so fresh, 12 o'clock in the night. You see, that thing happened. When they were entering the field, I'm sure, what must have crossed their mind? What if we lose? Some fears must have come. What will the nation say? What will my parents say? What will happen to my career, etc., etc.? So perceived threats are an automatic reaction when stress is there, which awakens the amygdala, which is the emotional brain, and the amygdala knows only three things: fight, flight, or freeze. It doesn't know anything else. Hypothalamus activates adrenal glands. Hypothalamus gets activated and your adrenal glands get activated. Now, adrenal glands release cortisol and adrenaline. Now, adrenaline and cortisol, what do? They put you in a fear state, fight state, fear state. Your heart rate goes up, you become alert, your focus rises, you're ready for action. You're ready for action. Action against whom? A perceived threat, an imaginary threat, which does not even exist. And when this thing continues, brain learns to stay in that alert mode. And that alert mode, puts your brain into the state of exhaustion. Now, Stanford University did a research. And what did it find? They found that when you reframe stress as a challenge rather than a threat, it improves your performance and recovery by 20%. So going back to this World Cup example of the Indian women team, yes, they were stressed. Will we win or not win? What will happen if we lose? They converted into a challenge. We got to give our best and win. Why won't we win? We have to show the world that we can win. And for the next 4 hours, I think it was 6 hours, the next 6 hours, they gave 100% of themselves to the game. So next time, friends, when you feel stressed, what do you need to tell yourself? My body and mind is preparing me to perform. Relax it. Relax your body, relax your mind, and tell yourself, no, my body and mind is preparing me to perform, is warning me. What is that thing which I need to overcome? And believe me, if you do this, like I just said, Stanford research says 20% performance improvement. The choice is yours, whether you want the plus 20% or the minus 20%. Now, you must have seen that a lot of people, advise how to manage stress. They give long-term strategies, do this, do that. Yes. But what I do is, the solution has to be such which helps you in the immediate. So what I've done is, I'll be sharing solutions with you which will help you to manage stress in the immediate. Then, in the medium term and in the long term. And you'll find all the three solutions or all the solutions in the three categories are totally different. So, and let me also tell you one thing. The immediate is temporary. The intermediate or the medium term is obviously for a longer period. And the long term is total eradication or total management. So the first thing for the short term, immediate term, is what? We call it the box breathing. Now, box breathing, what is it? It is breathe in to the count of 4, hold it to the count of 4, Release it to the count of 4, and then again hold it for the count of 4. 4 sides, it's a box. Now, before I guide you through this process, let me also share with you, why does breathing help? There are two systems in our body working, the sympathetic nervous system and the parasympathetic nervous system. Whenever we are stressed or anything stresses us, the sympathetic parasystem gets activated. And all the things we have been talking about, they start manifesting. Cortisol, amygdala, etc., etc. Now, to stop that thing, we got to bring the sympathetic nervous system back to its original position. It can be done by deactivating it and bringing it down, or by increasing your parasympathetic nervous system and creating the balance. Now, breathing does that. What breathing does is it rebalances the sympathetic and the parasympathetic nervous system. So now, folks, let us do 3 rounds of box breathing. And let's do it together. And I presume, and I'm confident, that you are doing it, though you're not visible to me. You are doing it. Relax yourself, sit straight, breathe into the count of 4. Breathe in, 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 1, 2, 3, 4. Breathe out, 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 1, 2, 3, 4. Breathe in, 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 1, 2, 3, 4. Breathe out, 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 1, 2, 3, 4. Breathe in, 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 1, 2, 3, 4. Breathe out, 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now breathe normally. What did you experience? I'm sure you must have experienced that your nerves are calmer, you are feeling relaxed. So this is what breathing does. It immediately calms your nerves. It reestablishes the balance between your sympathetic nervous system and the parasympathetic nervous system. And when they are balanced, you are cautious, which is essential. At the same time, you are mindful of your goal and you take proper decisions. Your performance goes up. For example, you are entering a meeting room, a board room, where you got to make a presentation. Before entering, just do this thing. Number 2. So this is one. The second exercise is called the grounding exercise. You see, when you are under stress, what happens? Your focus from your goal shifts. You cannot think of what you got to deliver unless you convert it into a challenge. Now, converting it into a challenge is not that simple. You've got to be present to convert it. You've got to have your attention, your mind inside your body. And how do we do it? This is called the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now, how many senses do we have? We have 5 senses. What are the senses? Seeing, hearing, feeling, smelling, taste. And how does this 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 works? Excuse me. Now, how does it work? You see, we see a lot, but we believe we see the factors we don't see. All our senses work on a very selective basis. And for our senses to work, we need our attention. So 5, you can just note it down. See 5 things which you do not usually see. In the room, could be an insect, could be a crack, could be a hole, could be a color, could be your dirty fan. Next, see or feel 4 things which you usually don't feel. Your hands touching each other, your back touching the chair, your hips touching the chair, your feet touching the ground, or you touching the paper, anything. With your attention, with your intent, mindfully. Then number 3, hear 3 sounds in the room, which in the normal case you would not have heard. And then 2 smells. And finally, 1 taste. Just imagine, you're having an orange, how the taste would be. You're eating a mango, how the taste would be. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now, let's do this exercise. Quickly see 5 things in the room which you usually will not see or do not see. Now feel 4 things through the sense of touch, which in the normal case you ignore. Now, hear 3 sounds in the room. Now, 2 smells in the room. And lastly, 1 taste. You know what this exercise does? It brings your attention back to you. You feel more alert, you feel more in control. And Harvard research suggests that 47.9% times our attention is not with us. Just imagine the times you were sitting in a meeting, in a client meeting or the boardroom, or talking to your family members, and all of a sudden you were not there. And then you say, "Hey, what did you say? Can you please repeat? I was somewhere else." It happens with all of us. Now, since we are chartered accountants, we work with numbers. So let's do some number crunching on our attention. Let's assume average lifespan is 75 years. Out of 24 hours, 8 hours sleep is a must. So we sleep for 8 hours. So this means we are sleeping for 25 years out of 75 years. How much time is left for us? 50 years. Now, out of this 50 years, if 47.9%, let us say, excuse me, let us say 50% time, our attention is not in our body. So, which means you are totally unproductive because without your attention, you cannot do anything. Attention is the prerequisite to think or to act, which means 25 years you are unproductive. And then we'll end up saying, I wish life had given me 1 year more or I had more time. Friends, you have 25 years with you, which we are wasting. And attention is a trainable thing. Like you go to the gym to develop your body, similarly, the mental gym is the training ground for your attention. And your 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 exercise is the one of the exercises in the mental gym. It sends a signal to your attention. Observe better, feel better, smell better, taste better, hear better. Which means more information comes to you. And if more information comes to you, don't you think your decision-making capabilities would improve? Since your attention is with you, don't you think you can easily convert the stress into a challenge? No, today I got to prove it. Max, what will happen? No, I have to give my best. So this was the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now this exercise is a very important exercise because if you start doing this thing, you will find that your life has changed because attention is more in your control. You are more present in the now. You will be less excused in the family for not being present. And this is very important. The family members keep on saying, you are there, but not there. Space and time for us. This accusation will go down. Relationships will improve. Decision-making would become better. Plus stress would reduce. And rule number 3, or the tool number 3, not rule number 3, tool number 3. What does sleep do? Sleep gives a break. Sleep gives a break to your brain and your mind and your body to react, to rejuvenate itself. Sleep is fine. We got to go in for that 7 hours, 8 hours sleep every day. That's medically established. How about giving a 5 minutes break every 1 hour? Do you know one thing? If you ask anyone to keep his or her hand this way, let me show it, stretched out this way, without any support for 45 minutes, what can happen to the person? The hand can get paralyzed. Therefore, a break to the body, a break to the mind, and a break to the brain is very, very essential. Now, those of you who travel frequently, especially long flights when you go abroad, don't you read that after every 1 hour, 2 hours, you should get up and walk around the plane a little bit. Why? So that your legs don't freeze. Blood circulation improves. And when the blood circulation improves, obviously, more energy is there. When more energy is there, you are functioning better, you're thinking better, acting better, deciding better. So every 5 minutes, every hour, for 5 minutes, get up, walk around. You know what my cousin does? He's a person, even in office, while the meeting is going on, he'll just get up and walk around the room. The meeting continues, but this act also of getting up from your chair, walking around the room, signals some relief to the body and the brain and the mind. So I've given you 3 tools to manage immediate stress. And the other tool, which you can use, Joe, you must have heard that people say when you're angry, when you're stressed, have a glass of water. Usually they say it for uh, anger. I say, have a glass of water when you're stressed also. Because ultimately, what does stress do? Stress lands up, drying your throat. Stress lands up drying your throat. Now, take my case, you must have heard me doing quite a bit. Now, this is because of the Delhi pollution. Pollution in Delhi is very bad, and my throat reacts to it. So, what am I doing? I am having water. Because at least for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, the throat soothes out. Okay, so now let's get down to the medium-term practices. Now, medium-term practices are more of habits. Now, which is the worst habit we have developed in the last 10 years? Which is the worst habit and the most destructive habit which we have developed in the last 1 decade and which is impacting our mental health strongly? The habit is this phone. Scrolling, social media. What are we doing? We can't sleep. We pick up our phone, start scrolling. And we fall asleep. Why? Because our body can take it no more. So that's more like a collapse. We don't go to sleep, we collapse into sleep. But that's not right. We need to fall into sleep. And sleep comes to a calm mind. When you're scrolling, you are activating your mind, you're activating your brain. You get up in the morning, what do? The first thing, let me see. Is there a mail? Is there a message? What has happened? You're not feeling working. What do? You land up picking up your mobile once again. You get so absorbed in your mobile, and as a result, you activate your brain to such an extent. Now, since your brain gets activated and the cause which was making you stressed is lost, because of this activation, you feel it's a relief. No, it's not a relief. It is causing you more stress because it is hampering your rejuvenating mechanism. So one thing, put your mobile away for half an hour before you go to bed. Be with your family. Read something soothing, meditate, do anything, but put the mobile away. Similarly, when you get up in the morning, for at least for half an hour, please don't check your mobile. And within a week, 10 days, you'll start seeing the difference. You'll start seeing the difference. Number one. Number two, try not to bring your work home and take your home to work. I remember reading a beautiful story. There was a man, his family was, his business was, he was not doing well in business. There was a lot of problems in business. But at the same time, there was a lot of love, mutuality, happiness, laughter in the family. So people asked him, "What do you do?" He said, "Very simple. This is a bag which I carry from my office to home and home to office. When I go home, in the evening, there's a tree outside my house. I hang this bag on the tree and put all my worries, all my problems in that bag, and then enter my house. Next day morning, I go there, pick up the bags, and with the bag comes all the worries and all the tensions and all the pressures which I need to handle in office for my business. I go back and continue addressing them." So the moral of the story is try to compartmentalize, try to compartmentalize the home from your office. Since you are the same person who's going to the home, who's going to office, it's difficult, but yes, we have the capability. If we shift our mindset, if we learn how to leave the worries of the office in office and not taking home, what's going to happen? The atmosphere at home is going to give you peace. You would rejuvenate. You would relax. You would refresh. And next morning, when you go to office with new energy, you will be finding the solutions much, much faster. And the other thing which you need to, or you can do, is pause before acting, is to learn how to pause before acting. A number of times, we want to write something else, but we'll end up sending a very different mail because we are not mindful, and the autocorrection feature in Word or in WhatsApp or the Messenger, lands up creating a very funny word which, changes the total meaning of what you want to communicate. As a result, fresh challenges arise. Now, if you learn to pause, be present, and look at what you are communicating, again, you'll find 50 to 60% challenges would get resolved on their own. Because what are you doing when pausing? You are giving rest to your mind, collecting your energy and focus on the challenge you are facing, and taking a decision. Have you ever seen a cat, hunting for a prey? What it does? There are a lot of pigeons around, for example. The cat would come, spot the pigeon, and then take a step back. Be still. That is the pause. bring all its focus on the pigeon, and all of a sudden would jump and catch the pigeon. Pause is that thing. Number two, now let us say you're reading a book, and if I remove all the spaces between the words and make it one string of alphabets from top to bottom, would you be in a position to read? Obviously, no. Pause is that power which gives meaning to the meaningless. And since continuous stress is taking you towards the meaningless, pause helps you to become meaningful once again. And by pause, you know what happens? The other thing, your internal conflicts also go down. You don't lose speed. One person told me, sir, if we pause, our speed would go down. I said, that is your feeling. Your net productivity would go up. Because when you're not pausing, you're making 10 mistakes. And then you're spending time in rectifying the mistakes. But if you pause and the mistakes come down to 3 or 2, how much time would you save? And in the saved time, you do something new, something additional, which means your productivity goes up. So we have done the short term, that's the immediate term. We did the medium term practices. And now let's look at the long term strategies. You see, in purpose, if I ask you, why did you become a chartered accountant? Or why did you do this thing? I'm sure a lot of you will not be able to answer that thing. Because in life, we do a lot of things mechanically. We don't apply ourselves. Now, this why am I doing something, is a very deep-rooted motivator. It is, in fact, it's not a motivation. The why is not a motivation. It is your soul's desire to achieve something in life. And when your actions are or do not contribute your movement towards your soul's desire or the desires of your life or the inherent compulsive desire of yours, obviously there's stress, there's irritation, there's agitation, etc., etc. So getting to know your why is very important. A person came to me and I said, okay, why did you do CA? So she said, sir, I want to earn a lot of money. Fair enough, brilliant. I asked her, ethical or just money? She said, no, ethical money. I want to earn a lot of good money. And then, you know, what we could do is we could chalk out a path for her. This is the way you can move. These are the steps you need to take. If this thing happens, you can do this. And if this doesn't happen, you can do this. You know, her internal conflict and pressure went down dramatically. Dramatically, it went down. So this is one thing, know your why. Number two, boundaries. How many of you land up saying yes when you want to say no? At least it used to happen with me. I wanted to say no, But invariably, I said yes. As a result, people would come, I would help them, serve them. They paid me, they did not pay me, they said thank you, walked away, and there was total frustration. What if also used to play? What if? Then I said no. And I learned to say no. I learned to quote my fees. I learned to create boundaries. And life has been beautiful since then. If a person comes to me, I'm honest, I say, yes, this is possible, this is not possible. How much will you charge? I'm going to charge so much. This is what I charge. It is as simple as that. And my life, my stress, my anxiety for tomorrow has gone down. Why? Because people love honesty. People love straightforwardness. So when you are clear of your why, you have set your boundaries, you talk to them honestly, people reflexively align with you. And that alignment internally reduces your burden of stress. You feel more confident. Third is support. Depending where you are standing on this journey of stress to suicidal thing, which again I'll repeat, stress, anxiety, distress, depression, burnout, suicidal thoughts. Very few reach the suicidal thing, but burnout, a lot of people are reaching. And if you look at the papers, a lot of suicides are happening. Undoubtedly, a lot of suicides are happening. Depending if you have crossed the stage of what if and you are anxious 24/7, you are just caught in this web of what if. Personally, I would suggest seek professional help. There's no harm in seeking professional help. Unfortunately, in our country, these things were associated with mental health. But like physical health, so is the brain health, so is the mind health. And believe me, science has established you can manage them. You can cure these things. And now there's no shame. So just go to a professional person. And lastly, to battle stress, you got to create the alignment of your body, mind, and soul. Now, why do I say this thing? Now, let me establish this thing through a small demonstration. You see, we are made of three energies: the soul, the mind, and the body. Now, we are alive and function successfully, effectively, efficiently till the time the three energies work in sync. Now, let's see what happens in the absence of one energy or the other. If I remove the soul, what happens? You die. So let's get the soul back. If I remove the mind, what happens? You are alive, but incapable of thinking and acting. You are in a state of coma. Let's get this thing back. We get the mind back. Let's remove the body. What happens? You don't exist. So what do we see? We see that all the three energies have got a specific role to play to keep us alive, to keep us thinking, to keep us taking action, to keep us successful, to make us successful. The soul gives you your why. The mind gives you the mindset. It helps you to uh, it helps you to activate your potential. And let me tell you, your potential is limitless. And the body is the frame through which you act. So it gives you your purpose. Stress is at the mind level. It takes care of the stress. The purpose takes care of the stress. And the mind gives you the ability to act properly, consciously, rightly. And when you do that, your purpose and act, they get connected, the mind gets relaxed, stress reduces. And now, let me share with you the AOPA framework. You can again note it down. What does the A stand for? Awareness. What does the O stands for? Ownership. The P stands for practice. And the last A stands for alignment. So when you are stressed or full of anxiety, what do? Start with the A, awareness. What's really triggering me? Example, when clients do not respond, they make me tense. If Ola or Uber are taking time to come, I get triggered. Why? Because I would be late for my meeting. I would miss my flight. I would miss my train. So first you identify where is the trigger. And sometimes the trigger is not visible. For example, if your mother is sick, your mother develops fever. You say, I'm stressed. Yes, you are stressed. Your mother has got fever. But is fever the trigger? 99% people will say, yes, fever is the trigger. I'll say, no. Fever is not the trigger. The trigger is, what if my mother does not become well? What if the temperature of my mother is not controlled? Because fever is controllable. So fever is not the trigger. The trigger is deeper. Because if you don't go deeper, what's going to happen? You will give some mycin or some paracetamol or something, the fever will go away. But next time she gets fever, again you will be in the same position. But in case you are able to identify, okay, it's my fear that what will happen if the fever doesn't go down? And you work on the fear. The next time she gets fear, you will not be stressed. Okay. Now you have identified and you have become aware of the trigger. Is that sufficient? No, that is not sufficient. Your neighbor, your peer, your spouse, or your family member will not come and help you out. They cannot, because that thing is inside you. So you got to take ownership of what is in your control. And you need to let go of what is not in your control. For example, you're in business. Trump has imposed all these tariffs, sanctions, and your main market is US. Can you do anything about the tariffs? You cannot. So being stressed कि tariff लग गए, okay, Trump has imposed tariffs, is going to take you nowhere. So you got to say that, okay, tariffs are there. The trigger is what will happen to my future sales. How will, if my exports drop, how will I sustain my employees? That is the fear. And when you recognize that, you start finding solutions. So take ownership. And now, when you have taken the ownership, the third factor is practice. To overcome the stress and the anxiety, what can I do differently? Because now you have identified, you have taken ownership, you are aware what you were doing earlier. So when it comes to practice, what can I do something differently which will help me to achieve what I want to achieve? Because the old methods are not going to work in the changed circumstances. And lastly, alignment. How would the new method align with my purpose, my why, my goals? So this becomes very clear, and I hope it's very clear. AOPA is something which you can practice, and if you practice, I'm sure you would be you would be in a much better situation in handling stress and converting it into skills. What was the heading was from stress to strength, skillful strategies to overcome burnout. So how do you convert the stress into strengths? We have discussed that. The burnout factor, how do we overcome that? Which sits between the stress and strengths, in between sits the burnout, and we have been talking about managing burnout through and through. And the final words are burnout isn't failure, it's only a feedback. It's your system's way of saying something precious inside you needs care. You can't pour from an empty cup. Your inside has become empty. So refill, not occasionally, but daily. Stress is inevitable, but strength, that's a choice we make every day. And if you want, I can give you the 7 days, the 7 activity formula, which you could do every day, or at least one activity per day, which is going to help you. Day 1, 3 minutes box breathing. Day 2, 4-5 times, do the 5-4-3-2-1 exercise. Number 3, no phone hour. Number 4, gratitude list. What made you smile? What made you happy? Kindness. How did you help someone else? Kind, compassion. Sleep in time. And then 10 minutes reflection. Where did I gain strength? So folks, thank you very much. We have been together for 1 hour, 40 minutes. I'll be open for question and answers if you have any. Tech support? Ah, you can ask them if they have any questions. They can frame the questions, send them to me. वो आपकी वो तो है नहीं, सीए टक्कर. हाँ बोलिए. हाँ शेयर करिए. ये कह रहे हैं व्हाई बर्नआउट इज ओवरकमिंग इन लाइफ. अब भाई ये आप ओवरवेलमिंग कहना चाह रहे हैं या हाउ बर्नआउट कैन बी ओवरकम इन लाइफ. Whoever the person is who has sent this query, can you please expand on it? Because I'm finding it a bit confusing why burnout is overcoming in life. Or you want to say why burnout is overtaking life. Okay, let me try and answer it from where. CA Alec, Alec, let me try and answer this thing from various angles. Why is it overtaking life? It is overtaking life because people are not aware that they have become a victim of burnout. And this is what I've been sharing right through. Why does it become overwhelming in life? It becomes overwhelming in life because by not taking action to control it, we are feeding it to grow. Does it make sense to you? Unless you have some other question. Okay, fair enough. Hmm? No, no, my stuff is over. I always keep 10-15 minutes for queries. It's done from my side, it's done. If they don't have queries, then it's okay. Bhavitaka, your comments?
Hello.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. So you have wonderfully explained about so many things which are really relevant, and on this, I would just would like to again hear you because see, sir, like this is a very important topic, and right now, though there are no questions, if we say from that part, uh, I just want to have a small question, if you don't mind.
Please.
Sir, in today's world, you know that it's so fast. Everybody is having so many stress, right?
Hmm.
And you are basically a graduate, postgraduate in theology, right,
Hmm.
sir? So, can you just guide us that how this spiritual energy, how the
Hmm.
spiritual energy can temporarily meet with this stress? Because you have explained us so many parameters that you have to check on your stress and everything. I just want to have a small hearing from you on this particular part.
Okay. Now, this is a very interesting question, and I love the question, Bhavi.
Thank you, sir.
First of all, spirituality is the most misunderstood word. Okay?
Okay.
There are 75 definitions of spirituality floating around in the market. Okay? Because
Okay.
people are defining it differently. It's a typical case of the five blind men and the elephant. Okay. Now, let's come down to what spirituality actually means.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
There are three words: spirit, spiritual, spirituality. Fair enough?
Yes.
Like I explained, spirit is that energy which gives you life.
Okay.
Because the moment the spirit leaves you, you die.
Very true.
Spirit and soul, baat ek hi hai. Okay? Okay. Now, this spirit, in whatever it comes, becomes spiritual because it is subordinate to it. In whatever form. So, the human body is spiritual because the spirit resides in us. Now, your question was spirituality. Spirituality is a verb, not a noun or an adjective. It is a verb, okay,
Yes.
which means living by the laws of the spirit.
Okay.
Fair enough?
Fair enough.
Achieving something is the resultant. Achieving is the resultant. Signing the signing the audited balance sheet is a resultant, right? A resultant of doing an audit. ठीक है?
ठीक है.
Now the point is, what is the nature of the spirit? Love, mutuality, larger good, refulgence, values, inspiration, etc., etc. Now, the human being, we have heard that the human beings are devil and saints put together. So, at one end, the human being is very selfish. At one end, the human being is extremely selfish, I, me, my. At the other end, the human being is very selfless. And you know, to succeed in life, to live a stress-free life, you need to be inclusive and accept reality as it is. So, when you live by the ways of the spirit, you tend to become more and more inclusive. And when you become more and more inclusive, more and more people start supporting you. And when more and more people start supporting you, your success starts growing multiple times. And as your success grows, obviously anxiety and stress also comes down. So, what people might say, another thing, one thing more. You see, when you live by the characteristics of the spirit, your internal calms, the speed you're talking about is all external. The external speed and the internal speed, they work in opposite directions. When internally you run fast, externally you become slow. Because at that point of time, when you're running internally very fast, you are not in a position to focus on any one particular thing. You are jumping from one idea to the other, second to third, third to fourth, fourth to fifth, from one relationship to the other, from one client to the other. You're jumping very fast. As a result, your progress in the external world becomes very slow. And when it is slow, stress develops, anxiety develops. Now let's do the opposite. External world is very fast. Internally, you have become calmer, slower. You are in a position to see better, assess better, comprehend better, take better decisions, and focus better. As a result, your success rate goes up. And as your success rate goes up, again, calm, stress, peace comes in. So this is how spirituality helps you to counter stress and anxiety and helps you to grow. And since we deal in numbers, let me just share one example with you. Raj Sisodia was with Wharton University. He has done a research. The research is called Firms of Endearment. What he did in this research was that he selected 60 global companies. From India, there are two, the Mahindra Group and the Tatas. Now, these 60 companies use human values as a central pivot of their business strategy. These companies use human values of love, endearment, mutuality, support, honesty, truthfulness as the central pivot around which their business strategies are formed. Now, when he compared the performance of these companies vis-a-vis the S&P 500 average, you folks would be surprised to find that these companies who talked of love outpaced the S&P 500 average by 10 to 15x over a period of 10 to 12 years. And that period was 1998 to 2013. I would urge all of you to go on the net and search for firms of endearment, and then you will understand the power of the spirit, how it impacts the external world and even your business and money earning capacity. Does that solve, does that answer your question, Bhavi?
Yes. Hello.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. It is really one of the most intrinsic topics, and this takes much more evaluation of what we are leading to this whole thing.
I've developed a framework called the SHE framework,
Yes.
where it is
Yes.
the integration of spiritual dynamics, human potential, and uh, economic strategies. I think my book should be out by January. I'm working on it.
Oh, that would be wonderful, sir.
Yes, yes.
So this was really one of the thing which had in my mind when I was listening to you for all the time.
Thank you
So
very much.
thank you so much
There's
for
one
giving
more
us a
question
clarity.
Manish
Yeah.
has sent. If someone says something that triggers you unintentionally or intentionally, you know what triggers you, but what to do to manage that so that you do not get emotional at that time.
Very true.
It happens with all of us. What do we need to do? If something has triggered you, right? First of all, taking ownership. Taking ownership that my sisters or brothers or friends, this statement has triggered me. Go beyond the purpose, go beyond the person. Look at what is that trigger. Then practice. What can you do differently? Or what does that thing mean to you? Change the meaning internally. And lastly, the question is, what triggered you? Is it taking you forward or backwards? Is it helping you to achieve your goals, your purpose, your why? Or it is pushing you backwards? It'll take time. Emotions are something which take time. But believe me, it happens. These things get resolved. Resolved in the sense the other person might stop behaving that way, or you not paying attention to that thing. This is what I mean by resolution. And I'm sharing this thing because I myself have gone through this journey quite a few times.
Thank you, sir, for your valuable guidance on this particular topic. And there are no more questions. So I think we would wind up with this session for today. And it has been a great honor to be the part of this wonderful webcast from the strength. Am I audible?
Yes, you are audible.
Yeah. Okay. From stress to strength, skillfulness strategies to overcome burnout, organized by the Professional Skills Enrichment Committee ICAI. On behalf of the Professional Skills Enrichment Committee ICAI, I would like to extend our heartfelt gratitude to our learned speaker, C.S. Sandeep Gupta ji, for his enlightening session. Sincere thanks who have enabled this webcast throughout. A wide round of applause and thanks to the organizers of the speaker, C.S. Sandeep Gupta ji, and all other stakeholders who made this webcast a memorable one. Finally, I would like to thank all those who are present here and helping us to make this webcast a grand success. I would also like to extend my thanks to the technical team support who has been with us for this, giving us a smooth, full technical background. Thank you all in one. Have a nice day and looking forward for the new sessions ahead. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.